If you have a computer and a genuine interest to create some content, chances are you're looking for something to record with. Whether it's your voice, an instrument, or even just your computer's audio, a way to easily capture and edit it would be really nice. I can definitely say that I've been there before. I'm glad to have found something that I still actively use for my voice work to this day, Audacity. Now, what is Audacity? It's a recording and editing software that you can use for all sorts of audio work. It's completely free, open source, and it works for Windows, Mac, and Linux. I'm not sponsoring or anything, I just think it's worth checking out. Let's get right to it. The first thing you want to do is make it to their website. You just have to search their name up and select this option here. Now when you're on their download page, you'll notice that there are two different ways that you can download it, as a standalone app and as an app with MuseHub. I would go with the standalone app unless you plan to use all their other apps too. Once it's downloaded and installed, you'll be greeted with this page. I would probably turn these off with this checkbox here. Well, here we are, Audacity. I'm so proud of you for making it this far. So now how do we use it? Well, the first thing that I'd recommend doing is going up here to this View tab, going to Toolbars, and enabling Device Toolbar. This should allow you to see what you're recording with and your output device. With these two drop-downs, you should be able to choose what you want to record with and what you want to listen with. For me, I use an audio interface, which acts as a hub where my microphone and headphones feed out, so I'm just going to pick that. To see if you have the right device selected, click on this little microphone symbol next to the bar and enable silent monitoring. If the right device is selected, the bar should be moving when the sound is fed to it. With your devices all set up, now you can hit record. It should be this button here. And to stop it, you hit this button. If you want to streamline this a bit, you can use R to start the recording and space to stop it. Hey, this is an example of a first sentence. This one is an example of a second sentence. And this is a little quip at the end. Hey, this is an example of a first sentence. Listen to this bozo. I can totally say that I don't like the sound of my own voice. I'll also say that it's completely normal for you to feel that way too. You get used to it with time and practice, so don't dwell on it too much. Another thing I'll note is that wherever this line is where your recording will start when you press record again. So if I wanted a new recording right after this one, I'd have to make sure that it's at the end of this one. So now that we have a recording finished, now we can clean it up with some editing. The first thing that I noticed is that I can reduce the length of this pause right here. I want to make it a bit shorter, so I'm going to click and drag to select this area between the sound and hit delete. There we go. Another thing that I noticed was that this last sentence here is unnecessary and I want to remove it. Sure, I could do what I just did on this too, but there's a faster way. What you want to do is put your cursor here toward the top of the clip and drag it to the left. This will trim that section of the recording. If you want it back, you could always drag it back. By the way, you can do this on both sides, not just the right. Hey, this is an example of a first sentence. This one is an example of a second sentence. Now let's move on to some cool effects. I don't use effects in Audacity very much, but they can be extremely helpful in improving your recording sound, or they could be just downright funny. One thing that I did use a lot that I can use right here is noise reduction. It's used to hide background sound in your recording to emphasize the good stuff. What you first want to do is select an empty area of recording with no speech in it, and then navigate to the noise reduction and hit this button here, Get Noise Profile. What this will do is tell Audacity what the noise is and what the background sounds like, so it'll try its best to remove it. After you get the noise profile, select the area that you want to reduce the noise from. Navigate back to noise reduction one more time. Now this will clean up most of that nasty background stuff. You could adjust the sliders if you want and choose how to reduce it, but I tend to leave those alone and just hit OK. Now I will let you know to be careful. This could mess with how your audio sounds if you use it too much, so I'd say be sure to use it lightly. Hey, this is an example of a first sentence. This one is an example of a second sentence. Now that the audio's been trimmed and clean, let's try a funny effect on it. First, go ahead and select everything, and then go up here to Effect, Delay and Reverb, and select reverb. This can make your audio sound like it's in a big room or a long hallway. Now before you hit apply, you could always hit preview to hear a snippet of what the audio will sound like after the effect is applied. Hey, this is an example of a first sentence. This one. Now if you want to add that reverb effect, but you don't want to touch the sliders, you could press this little button here, Presets and Settings, and check out the factory presets. These will make that choice really quick and easy. Let's go with this one. Yeah, that sounds good. Hey, this is an example of a first sentence. This one is an example of a second sentence. Amazing. Now, I don't want to keep the effect. It's funny, but I think it can be distracting. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Control Z to undo that change. All right. Now with all of it finished and squared away, let's go ahead and export this. Go up here and hit File, and then select Export Audio. Audacity can turn your recording into many different types of files, but there are a few important ones. First, there are WAV files. These ones are the biggest in size and are usually for moving audio from one editing program to another to preserve the quality. Second, there are MP3 files, which are sort of the opposite. They compress a lot of the information, so they're usually better for when you're finished with it and want to share it. Third, there are OGG files. I use these a lot. They're highly compressed to keep the audio in larger projects on the lighter side. From what I've seen, they're commonly used in video games. Now in the window, select the file type that you want, give it a name that you will remember, and choose where you want to export it to. When choosing a folder, be sure to have a place for all of your exports. That way you can get to them quickly without worrying about finding things. With your folder selected, hit Export to send the audio file to the folder. After that, be sure to listen to the audio to make sure it's exactly how you wanted it to sound. Hey, this is an example of a first sentence. This one is an example of a second sentence. Once you've done that, congratulations! You've exported your first Audacity project. You tried something new, you bared through with it to the end. You should feel very proud for what you've accomplished today. That's pretty much everything I wanted to go through. I certainly hope that you found at least a little bit of this interesting. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below or send me an email. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Light Blue, out.